Hey y'all, it's Melissa from Cajun Sugar Pie, and today we're going to be making recipes centered around ham. I'm going to take a bone-in ham, and put it in the Instant Pot, and then we're also going to be making some ham sliders with the ham left over from the next day, and I also am going to take the ham bone and make some red beans and rice. So let's get started. We're going to start with a cup of water in the Instant Pot to do the ham. I'm going to put the trivet in, and then we're also going to put some foil just to keep the ham out of the water so it stays real moist. And I do have it's an 8-pound bone-in ham, and it's really large, as you can see here. I could not get it to fit in the Instant Pot. So I took it out, I chopped some off of it. I think it ended up being about almost 1.5 pounds that I chopped off. And then I took the full ham, put it back in the Instant Pot, and it did fit a little better this time, but it would not seal for anything. I had to try it like 3 or 4 times, and I just couldn't get it to seal. It was just the craziest thing. So, and I do have an 8-quart Instant Pot, and it still would not seal. So here I'm going to put this is brown sugar, a little Dijon mustard, and some honey, and I'm going to mix that up and put it over the top of the ham before I try to seal the Instant Pot and get that process started. And this glaze was really, really, really good. Once I did finally get it in the oven and bake it, this just caramelized so wonderfully, so beautifully, and it tasted so, so good. So if you are using a smaller ham, then you can put them in the Instant Pot, and it's 2 minutes per pound, and then you're supposed to add 10 extra minutes for foil. So when I cut it, it ended up being 7 pounds. So that was 14 minutes plus 10 extra minutes for the foil. Now I am going to take my serrated bread knife and cut into these Hawaiian rolls. This was actually a 24 pack of the rolls, and I first split it in half so I could just have 12 at a time to work with. So I'm using my serrated knife to slice this in half, and then I'm going to put the bottom halves on my stone here. Now, if you do this if you're going to use a cookie sheet to bake these, you definitely need to spray the pan first, and it might even work better if you use the little foil so it won't get stuck to the pan. So put the foil down, spray it. But here I'm just using my stone, and I'm going to do 1 layer of the ham, and then we're going to add some cheese and then another layer of ham. And you can also do this with deli ham. It's usually how I do it, the thinly sliced deli ham. But I wanted to use this ham here from the day before. So the Swiss cheese here, I do the baby Swiss, and you need 12 slices, so I ended up having to use 2 packs, or 2 slices from the second pack, but we used the baby Swiss on sandwiches anyway, so it was okay. So I am making the sauce that's going to go on top of the second layer of ham, and this is just about a heaping tablespoon of mayonnaise with about a teaspoon of honey and a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and you just mix that up really well. And you could spread this on the inside of the top layer of the Hawaiian roll if you wanted to. Sometimes it makes a little bit of a mess trying to transfer it like that, so I just like to kind of drizzle it over that second layer of ham. And I was making sure to kind of cut any fat pieces out of the ham since it was a fresh ham and not like a deli ham, just to make sure we had a tender sandwich. So here's the sauce that I'm just going to kind of drizzle over the top, and then we'll add the top buns back on. And this is really, really a good recipe. It's a kid favorite. I've been making it for a really long time, and everyone in the family loves it. So next up, I'm going to be doing a sauce to put on the top. I'm going to take half a stick of melted butter and a little bit of Dijon mustard, about a 1/4 teaspoon of some toasted onion, and then a tablespoon of poppy seeds. And I'm just going to stir this up, and spread it over the top very generously. And then once I have that totally coated, I'm going to cover it with foil and bake it in the oven. And then when it comes out, you want it to sit about 10 minutes before you try and cut it and serve it. And that just lets the cheese and all kind of come together and be a little firmer for when you're trying to slice it, so it doesn't ooze out everywhere, because it is very oozy and yummy and delicious and like a total comfort food, I guess. On this night, we served this with a broccoli and cheese soup. So that was the second night of the ham. Next, I'm going to be making some red beans and rice. You want to use a green bell pepper. I did not have any, so I just went with this yellow one. And you can see there, compared to the size of my hand, it's pretty big. So probably more than you would use regularly of the bell pepper. But I also didn't have any celery, which you need to put in there too. But I didn't have celery, so I kind of let this really big pepper take up both of those spots. And I'm just going to chop the bell pepper kind of not too fine, but you want it kind of chopped pretty well. And then we will take an onion and chop that. And I used to not like red beans and rice when I was a kid. In fact, I hated it. And I guess I've gotten old because it's one of my favorite meals now. So just chopping up the onion, and we're going to get the andouille sausage ready. And I buy the Ideals. I know y'all seen me use that before. Because that's kind of the only andouille I can get in Tennessee. So I'm going to use 2 packages of this. You need about 1 pound of sausage, but this is only like 10 ounces, a 10-ounce pack, I think. So I just used 2. So to the Instant Pot, I turned it on saute, and once it was hot, I added some bacon fat. That's about a tablespoon of bacon fat, and I want that to kind of melt a little bit, and then I'm going to add in the sausage and the onions and peppers. You probably should just do the sausage first, get that brown, pull it out, then add the onions and peppers, and then put the sausage back in. But I was kind of pressed for time, so I just did it that way. And then I'm adding the beans in. That was 4 cups of water that I put in. Here's the ham bone. That it's got a little bit of ham left on it, so I'm just going to put that in the pot and add some seasonings. We're going to start with some black pepper. And this is kind of to taste, and I know you're not going to taste it yet, but just black pepper, some salts, some cayenne, some Cajun seasoning, and you can never have too much spice, and some minced garlic. Also, you probably could use fresh and do that with the peppers and onions, but I didn't have any fresh at the time. And I'm going to add a bay leaf. And just remember to take that out before you serve it. So I'm going to add 2 more cups of water just to make sure that the beans are good and covered, so that it ends up being about 6 cups of water total. I'm going to seal the pot, and this is going to go for 40 minutes with a 20-minute natural release. And once it comes out, you're supposed to take some of the beans and mush them up to thicken the sauce and give it just the red bean and rice texture. And I decided to be lazy and use my immersion blender. So you can see here it's a little liquidy, but it ended up tasting fine. And the second day it was totally perfect and the right texture, and it was delicious. So thank you all so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I will link these recipes down in the description box below. If you have any other ham recipes that you would like to share with me, please also leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, Merry Christmas, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.